Hello friends, I am Kunal Uday Shinde, working as Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department of Sandeep Institute of Engineering and Management, Nasik. This video has been made as a part of an activity under an international FDP on environment and sustainability. In this video, we are going to discuss about the carbon footprint calculation. Here are the details of the videos which has been made under week 1 and week 2. In week 1, we have discussed how our choices will impact resource consumption throughout the supply chain and make decision that minimizes the impact. As we design, we should consider what energy and resources our design will require. And in week 2, we have discussed about what is carbon footprint and how ISO standards are useful in design. In the last video, we have discussed about the carbon footprint. In that, we have studied that a carbon footprint is nothing but the total greenhouse gas emissions caused by an individual, event, organization, or product expressed as carbon dioxide equivalent. Greenhouse gases, including the carbon containing gases, that is carbon dioxide and methane, can be emitted through the burning of fossil fuels, land clearance and the production, and consumption of food, manufactured goods, materials, wood, roads, buildings, transportation, and other services. It is usually measured as tons of carbon dioxide emitted per year. Here we have the two foots. In that, the right foot shows us the resources that we are using which are causing the carbon dioxide emissions or the greenhouse emissions, whereas the left foot represent the impact of carbon dioxide on the environment. Now we will discuss about the carbon footprint calculation. As we already know that greenhouse gas emission becomes a recent global concern for manufacturing. Also, product design has an indirect effect on a product's carbon footprint in its life cycle. Conceptual design of a product determines over 70% of its life cycle cost. The decision made during the conceptual design also have extensive impacts on the environment. Therefore, it is important to estimate the carbon footprint of a product at its conceptual design stage. The carbon footprint analysis is based on product life cycle assessment. Carbon footprint is typically calculated by considering carbon emission factors and activity data which could be evaluated by life cycle assessment. Life cycle assessment is based on life cycle inventory, which is a depository that includes the data of resource and energy consumptions and emissions to the environment throughout the entire product life cycle. Calculation of carbon footprint. The calculation of carbon footprint is divided into 4 steps. First, select functional unit. In the LCA of a product, the functional unit needs to be identified for analysis and calculation. Second, determine the system boundary. The system boundary should be defined so that it indicates the calculation scope for carbon footprint, including the inputs and outputs of materials, energy, and other resources involved in LCA. Third, collect data. Data that need to be collected to calculate carbon footprint include activity data and carbon emission factors in the product life cycle. And last, calculate carbon footprint. All input and output of materials and energy consumption should be taken into consideration in the calculation to estimate the true balance of the system. This flowchart describes the process of calculating the product carbon footprint. Now we will discuss about product carbon footprint calculation model for entire product life cycle. According to the definition of product life cycle and the analysis of product carbon footprint, the contribution of carbon footprint is divided into 5 stages for the entire product life cycle: acquisition of raw materials, manufacturing, transportation, usage, and recycle and disposal. The carbon footprint model of the product life cycle is defined as E is equals to summation of EI from the limit I is equals to A to R, where E is the carbon footprint in the product life cycle, EI is the ith stage of the product life cycle, For example, I is equals to A, M, T, U and R are for the acquisition of raw materials, manufacturing, transportation, usage and recycle and disposal stage respectively. The formula EI is equals to summation of Mij into Cij from the limit j is equals to 1 to Mi plus summation of Gik into Gwpa from the limit k is equals to 1 to Gi is the general formula which will be used to calculate the carbon footprint of product at each stage. Here I represents the stages which we have already discussed. Now we are going to use this formula to calculate the carbon footprint at the acquisition of raw material stage. So we are going to replace I with the stage. So here we are going to replace the I with the term A, where A represents the acquisition stage. So MA will represent the number of raw material types consumed at the acquisition of raw material stage. GA represents the number of direct greenhouse gas emission types at the acquisition of raw material stage. MAJ represents consumption of the jth raw material. CAJ represents carbon emission factor of the jth raw material. GAK represents emission of the kth type greenhouse gas at the acquisition of raw material stage. GWPAK represents the global warming potential of the kth type greenhouse gas. Now the same formula we are going to use to calculate the carbon footprint of product at the manufacturing stage. So we are going to replace the term I with the term M. So MM will represent the number of manufacturing and assembly activity processes. GM will represent the number of direct greenhouse gas emission types at the manufacturing stage. MMJ will represent consumed energy in the jth manufacturing and assembly activity process. CMJ will represent carbon emission factors of the energy consumed in the manufacturing process and assembly process. GMK represents the emission of the kth type greenhouse gas at the manufacturing stage, and GWMK is the global warming potential of the kth type greenhouse gas. So at transportation stage, we are going to replace the term I with the term T in the above equation, where MT will represent the number of transportation stages including highway, railway, waterway, etc. GT will represent number of direct greenhouse gas emission types at the transportation stage. TTJ, LTJ, ELTJ is the activity data at the transportation stage. TTJ is the quantities of transportation objects including materials, parts, products, waste, etc. in the jth transportation stage. LTJ is the transportation distance in the jth transportation. ELTJ is the energy intensity of the jth transportation mode, that is the energy consumption per unit energy quantity and per unit of distance in the jth transportation mode. CTJ represents carbon emission factor of energy consumption in the jth transportation mode, and GTK will represent emission of the kth type greenhouse gas at the transportation stage. Now we are going to calculate the carbon footprint of product at the usage stage, and it will be calculated by the formula EU is equals to summation of UI into CUI from the limit I is equals to 1 to N4 plus summation of MJ into CMJ plus FJ into CFJ into L upon LJ from the limit J is equals to 1 to S2 plus summation of GUK into GWPK from the limit K is equals to 1 to D4, where N4 represents total types of the energy consumed in the normal use and detection. S2 represents number of parts in the repair process. D4 represents number of direct greenhouse gas emission types at the usage stage. UI represents amount of consumed ith type of energy in normal use and detection. CUI represents carbon emission factor of the ith type energy. MJ represents energy consumption in the ith manufacturing process. FJ represents energy consumption in the jth assembly activity. CMJ represents carbon emission factors of the material to the jth part in their process. CFJ represents carbon emission factors of the energy consumed to the jth part in their repair process. L represents service life of the product. LJ represents service life of the jth part. GUK represents emission of the kth greenhouse gas at the usage stage. And lastly, the carbon footprint of the product at the recycle and disposal stage can be calculated by the formula ER is equals to summation of QI into CQI from the limit I is equals to 1 to NS plus summation of RJ into CRJ minus GJ from the limit J is equals to 1 to S3 plus summation of GRK into GWPK from the limit K is equals to 1 to D5, where N5 represents the total type of the consumed energy in the product, disassembly and waste disposal. S3 represents number of parts and materials in the reuse process of parts. D5 represents the number of direct greenhouse gas emissions types at the recycle and disposal stage. QI represents ith consumed energy in the product disassembly and waste disposal. CQI represents carbon emission factor of the ith type energy. RJ represents quantities of energy consumed in the process of reusing the jth part or material. CRJ represents carbon emission factors of energy consumed in the process of reusing the jth part or material. GJ represents carbon emission reduced in the process of reusing the jth part or material, which could be estimated with the ratio between the recycling materials and the original materials. GRK represents emission of the kth type greenhouse gases at the recycle and disposal stage. And at the end, we can find out the total carbon footprint of the product by adding the carbon footprint calculated at each stage. Low carbon product design. The standards that are used to evaluate the product carbon footprint in the life cycle are mainly PAS 2050 and ISO TS 14067. The life cycle is defined as a series of consecutive stages of a product by ISO 14040, including acquisition of raw materials, manufacturing, transportation, usage, and recycle and disposal. For design methods to reduce carbon footprint, low carbon product design system based on the bill of materials using the embedded greenhouse gas emission data of the parts is proposed. The low carbon product design system allows quick calculation of the greenhouse gas emission of a product. Thus, a designer can easily and quickly evaluate alternative parts for the design of a low carbon product. These are the various ISO standards that can be used at the time of product design. ISO 9000, which focuses on the quality management of the product. ISO IEC 27000 focus on the information security management system. ISO 14001 focus on the environmental management. ISO 31000 focuses on risk management. ISO 50001 focuses on energy management. ISO 26000 focuses on social responsibility. ISO TS 14067 focuses on greenhouse gases. ISO 14040 focuses on environmental management, that is life cycle assessment and principles and framework. Now we will see how ISO standards are useful in design. ISO standards are useful in designing a mechanical design because due to standardization, different manufacturers producing a particular part of any machine can be used interchangeably. ISO helps in considering what energy and resources our design will require and integrate a thoughtfulness towards that in what we design. ISO helps in designing the component or machine which after manufacturing is going to reduce the greenhouse gas emission using minimum resources, leading to reduction in waste disposal. And ISO 9000 helps in maintaining the quality of the product and services and consistently meet the customer requirement. From this, we can conclude that the carbon footprint calculation is based on the bill of material at the stages of material acquisition and manufacturing. The low carbon conceptual design process is based on the integrated carbon footprint method, and ISO standards are useful in designing as it provides standardization to the product. Thank you.